Wolverine and Nick Fury, the Scorpio connection. Oh yes, it is time for another Blast from the Past review. Hi everybody and welcome to another review video, and today we are going to have a little bit of a blast from the past, my dear friends. We're going to review Wolverine, Nick Fury, the Scorpio connection, a Marvel Comics comic book that was written by Archie Goodwin and illustrated by Howard Chaykin. Now, this is a part, actually, of the Wolverine Epic Collection Volume 2. Those Epic Collections are collected editions in paperback published by Marvel Comics that are collecting older issues of individual series and runs, such as you can see here, Wolverine, XMen, so on and so forth. There's a plethora of them, and I call them little omnibuses, because omnibus editions are those big, chunky hardcovers. Those are paperbacks, smaller ones, more compatible ones, much easier, much more comfortable to read, also half as expensive. Now, this is, I think that originally this was like a graphic novel. This didn't come out in issues. They did it from time to time in the past. There were not as many collected editions or like trade paperbacks as today. And so they were, that much more interesting for people to read. They were like a novelty. But this comic book itself, although it is a part of a Wolverine epic collection, it is more of a Nick Fury story. I think that it is set in about the era when the XMen were thought to be dead. And so they were in the outback, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong, of course. And Wolverine is very well known for, going on his own from time to time, leaving for Madripoor, disguising as Patch, and then going on his own adventures, probably also so they could give him his own title, right? Very good, because, him being one of the most, or really the most popular X-Men is just a logical decision at the time. But as I said, here we are looking at somebody disrupting the operations of the Shield, which a lot of people know nowadays, also from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and quite obviously the boss of the Shield being Nick Fury, and so somebody is annihilating Shield agents and taking the stations and operations down, and there you can see the logo of the Scorpio, and it is apparently a villain called Scorpio, which is, spoiler alert, yes, this review will be contain spoilers. It's like a 30 plus years old comic. Come on, I mean, can I really spoil it? I don't know. However, it turns out to be that the Scorpio was originally a villain who was Nick Fury's brother, but we will get to that later. I need to show you this. This page, I love this page. This is Nick Fury working out at the gym with his friend. And you can tell that this comic was created at a time when Sylvester Stallone was like the big star in Hollywood, because I love how Howard Chaykin, in this specific panel, drew Nick Fury grinning like Sylvester Stallone. I mean, like, this was like clearly inspired by Sly. I just love these little details. When you are acquainted with the pop culture at the time, you just see these little things, and people did care at the time. I mean, they put a lot of passion, a lot of work into it. This guy, I mean, look at the art by Howard Chaykin. I love the fact that when he is doing like close-ups, it's quite detailed, such as this panel here with the Nick's friend, the mustache guy. But when it's like a wider shot, from distance, Howard Chaykin, he didn't like overburden himself with too many details. Although As you can see, for example, here, I mean, in contrast, look at all these backgrounds. I mean, the city behind the window and all those details, back there. And then obviously, there's a little bit of a time saver here when you've got these 5 panels at the bottom here, which is basically one and the same drawing, just added the hand here. So, it's really an art. Really, really, truly a work of art to, create a comic when you need to know, when you can spend time. For example, this, once again, contrasted to this page or the bottom of this page, then you go here and you can see all these little crazy things behind Arcade, the villain. Now we are being introduced to, of course, Wolverine and the X-Men. And so I think that he mentions that, what does he say? Well, so much for sophistication. You're excused, Miss Locke. I'll handle the X-Men. I know you people are skilled superheroes, well-honed, mutant powers and such. With all that training, didn't anyone ever teach you to knock? So I don't know if they are thought to be deceased at the time. As I said, I might be misremembering things, but to be honest, X-Men were like the most popular title at the time, and there were so many X-Men titles that I just lost count. However, this particular issue or this particular story, this graphic novel, you can read without knowing anything about those characters because they summarize nicely who Nick Fury is, who Wolverine is, where they came from, that they have got some background together, that they had worked together in the past, and of course, Nick Fury needs help with the apprehension of the Scorpio villain, and he turns to nobody else but Mr. Logan here, Wolverine. I love this cowboy look. Which is also very nice is that Nick Fury in this story is realizing that he's getting older, that he's not as agile, that he hasn't got, as much stamina as he did in the past. He's dealing with his own aging as well as with his own past, which I mentioned at the beginning of the video that the Scorpio was Nick Fury's brother, and we will go a lot into Nick Fury's past and his family and his love affairs and things like that. And it's just really good storytelling, really good, almost James Bond style story with Nick Fury and Wolverine. Kind of an interesting looking villain. I mean, this was like the first and the last time I encountered this villain, the Scorpio. But I'm sure that people who have read more Nick Fury stories are more acquainted with this villain. I haven't read as many Nick Fury stories as, I should. But I have read a good chunk of Wolverine and shit ton of X-Men. So, but as I said at the beginning, it's more of a Nick Fury story where Wolverine is a supporting character, more or less. Although he himself also gets his share of page time. This being said, it's a nice short little story about 50 pages of very nicely drawn, very nicely written, illustrated, told story about Wolverine and Nick Fury, a blast from the past, which I recommend you get 100%. It is a part of the Wolverine Epic Collection Volume 2 paperback, and the subtitle is Back to Basics. So if you want to read this and many more issues, many more stories that I will probably cover and review, go get this. Might be sold out, but you can find your way. Right, so let me know in the comments down below what you think. Do you like Wolverine? Do you like Nick Fury? Do you like the X-Men? Do you like comics? So on and so forth. That'll be all. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm out of here.